Hello everyone, what is up? Nubby here, and it has been some time since the release of Wuthering Waves version 1.0 back in May of 2024. And as the current version 1.1 of Wuthering Waves is coming to an end, I am finally making a Nubby's review / opinion video on Wuthering Waves. So let us begin. Wuthering Waves, sometimes also known as the Genshin Killer or Genshin Clone, is an open-world action RPG gacha game made by Kuro Games that has arguably one of the best combat in the current gacha genre and market, alongside one of the most attentive developers I have ever seen for any game. I mean, like, the devs for Wuthering Waves listened and improved the game based on player feedback so much that it has become a meme in the community known as Devs Listened, as the devs are constantly improving the game with new features such as the new custom lock-on feature for better combat camera control, new gadgets to make the exploration of the open world more convenient, and many other quality of life changes such as a new stamina storing system that is going to be coming in version 1.2, and also sometimes the devs will just randomly give every player a free new 5-star character for free. Like, man, free-to-play players are having it good in Wuthering Waves. And aside from having these constant improvements and freebies from the developers, the gameplay of Wuthering Waves itself is just very solid. The movements for exploration feels great, as with the right inputs you can triple jump into grappling hook into your glider, and the parkour animation itself also looks really cool in my opinion. As for the combat gameplay of Wuthering Waves, it is great, as I feel it has most of the bells and whistles needed for good combat. I mean, time slows down when you get a perfect dodge, parries feels impactful, and the enemies, especially the hologram bosses, really want to kill you. These endgame bosses ain't pulling no punches, like bitch ain't holding nothing back. If you even get hit once or twice in these hologram boss fights, you most likely will have to restart the whole boss run. But if you are not a fan of sweaty high-skill boss fights, don't be scared off. Wuthering Waves can be played very casually as well, and I am a great example of that, as I suck at the combat and I am mainly playing Wuthering Waves for the exploration, main story quest, and the stories of the playable characters. I do try and enjoy some of the harder boss fights and content every now and then, but if you really don't like these type of hard boss fights, you don't have to do them, as most, if not all, of these really hard boss fights are completely optional, so play the game how you want to play the game. However, now that I have established that in my opinion Wuthering Waves is a good game, and I also truly feel that Wuthering Waves have already made a name for itself as a gacha game with great combat gameplay that is backed by a great development team since the launch of the game, weirdly enough, I've been finding it very hard to recommend Wuthering Waves to other people. Like, I recommended this game to some of my friends in real life, and the ones that tried Wuthering Waves couldn't really enjoy the game like I did. And after talking to my friends and thinking about it for a while, in my opinion, these are the two main reasons why I find it hard to recommend Wuthering Waves to other people. The first reason is optimization issues. During the launch of Wuthering Waves, many players faced optimization issues like constant stuttering, crashes, bugs, and some players couldn't even get the game to launch. I was lucky, as the only real issues I had during launch was audio bugs where music won't play during gameplay, and I did also experience some stuttering here and there, but a friend of mine couldn't even properly launch the game, as Wuthering Waves just kept crashing on his laptop that was able to play Genshin just fine. The optimization issues I personally faced with Wuthering Waves have mostly been fixed in version 1.1, but it is still a mixed bag, as a handful of people on Reddit still seem to have optimization issues of the game crashing or stuttering. And due to this, whenever I recommend a friend Wuthering Waves, I keep finding myself adding a warning label alongside my recommendations, like, this is a great game, but just so you know, you might experience some stuttering or crashes depending on your luck. The second reason is a bad introduction to the overall story and the world, as a large majority of the main story quest at the start isn't very good, and I feel the story only really picks up after I sunk around 10 plus hours into the game, where you finally meet Scar, a member of the Fraxidus, which is the main enemy faction of Wuthering Waves. And I can understand why people who are more casual players like me, who cares more about the story than combat, will drop the game before that 10-hour mark. Because at that point, even with a recommendation of a friend, they are still going to have to waste around 10 plus hours longer if they play slower and read all of the dialogue, but they are still gonna need to waste a large amount of time just to see whether they like the story of the game. And another thing that I feel made the story quest experience worse is that apparently, correct me if I'm wrong here, but apparently some character story quests are time limited for some reason. Like if you missed Jian's and Yiling's character story quest in version 1.0, you just can't do them anymore. If you are a newer player, like because I have a friend who started playing Wuthering Waves near the end of version 1.0 and he could not find the Jian's story quest at all. Like it just wasn't available, and if this is the case, if the devs really did made character story quests, which are good story quests mind you, if they really did make these quests time limited, it is just stupid, as you are leaving in the bad starting quest and taking away the better written character story quests for newer players, making their perception of the overall story and world worse. So, although I myself have been really enjoying Wuthering Waves, and you know I'm a story guy, version 1.1's story was really good. I love the animations, love the cutscenes, love the concepts, and I would really love for more of my friends to play and enjoy the game. But sadly, due to the optimization issues and some poor choices when it came to the early parts of the main story, I am kind of the only person in my social circle that plays Wuthering Waves, and I keep finding it hard to try to recommend Wuthering Waves to other people without including warnings of these issues, which I feel tend to scare off people away from trying the game. And I feel this is a unique situation, as I have in the past gotten my friends to play other gacha games like Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail, and some of them are still active players of these games to this very day. I even got some of my friends to try AFK Journey, and they loved the game. They did stop playing the game after a month or two, but they still enjoyed the time that they put into the game. For Wuthering Waves, however, my recommendations didn't go so well, as some of my friends just could not play the game due to the optimization issues, and those who couldn't get hooked into the story and the world of Wuthering Waves. But maybe I'm just a bad salesman, because again, I really genuinely enjoy the game for what it is, and if I have to rate it, I give Wuthering Waves a minimum, a solid 7 out of 10. But although I really do enjoy the game, and I want more people to play the game, I just feel it is so hard to recommend Wuthering Waves. Well, at least for me it is. Anyways, thank you so much for watching the video, or listening, because I feel this is more of a rant than a review now. And if you share similar feelings for the game, let me know down in the comments below. But if you disagree with my takes and opinions, feel free to call me a dumbass in the comments below. Like, share and subscribe. Nubby out.